Hey everyone, my name is David Rao and I'm the music teacher who blogs at makemomentsmatter.org. You can also find my ideas on Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, TikTok now, and a variety of other platforms when you search for my name, David Rao, or Make Moments Matter. So I'm excited to be back with you all this week to share more lesson ideas. The plan for me today is to share a new book that I found about Dolly Parton, because you can never have enough books about Dolly Parton. Love Dolly Parton. And then also to share my kindergarten lessons for the first 2 weeks of school and everything that's sort of included in that and sort of my plans for kindergarten. That's coming up. I will say this is the Mondayest of all Mondays when it comes to technology. Last week with my first Musical Mondays back for the school year, and midweek I shared from my classroom a little bit about color coding and how I use that in my classroom. If you want to go and watch that or you haven't seen that, go back to my Facebook feed and check that out. Halfway through the video, all my sound cut out, so I had to stop and restart. And so I'm still working on how to get that into the podcast feed. That is coming soon, and also onto YouTube. That's coming soon. Today, my computer is like super spinny, slow, weird connection. So here's hoping that it makes it out to y'all. If not, hey, it looks like Instagram's working, so like that's something. Anyway, so I'm gonna plan to share and hope that it all comes through. And if not, I don't know, I'll figure something out. Oh yeah, Mondays to Mondays. 15 minutes ago, I went to update the links page on my blog to make sure that y'all had links to like this Dolly Parton book and whatever I was going to share. My blog was like critical error, crash. So anyway, if you go to my blog and can't find anything, it's because I'm probably like in recovery mode up to my eyeballs in like forums and blogs and things trying to figure out what's going on. So anyway, I'm working on it. So my plan today is to share about this book and then talk about kindergarten lessons. That's what I'm hoping to do, assuming technology plays nice. Just a quick note, if you hear about any puppet or book or anything that I talk about and you're like, that's so cool, it's probably on the links page on my blog, makemomentsmatter.org/video. You can find the drop down and click on the resource link for this year, 2022-2023 school year, and find all the links. It'll be under week 2, this video. And then one more thing, if you want, there's a Facebook group called Every Moment Matters, a music education community. Come join us. We're going to be learning together, talking together, sharing ideas, and it's a great place to make new friends, pick up ideas, and share what's going on in your classroom. So I hope you'll consider joining us. If you're watching on Facebook, could you leave like a comment that says, I can hear you? After last week and the sound cutting out, I'm just a little nervous that like, oh my gosh, hopefully you can hear me. Oh, see, now Facebook's giving me a fun error. That's cool. Who knows? We'll see if I can fix it. I don't know. Maybe? Nope, don't know. Oh well, I'll try and do this on the next one. Anyway, hopefully y'all can hear me. I don't know. No one's responded. So I'm going to go on and start going through my lessons. So oh, great. Thanks, Lori. You can hear me. Okay. So this book is new to me. It's actually new to the world. It came out. Oh, Karma says, I can hear you on Facebook, but the video is very glitchy. I'm so sorry. I don't know why. Again, this is the weirdest day for technology. So glad you can hear me. Sorry it's being weird. I will try and fix it for next week. Oh well. Anyway, this is a new book to me, and it's also new to the world. It's called Dolly, the story of Dolly Parton and her big dream. It was published this summer, I think this June or July. So I thought I would share just a couple pages and then talk about what I love about it. So I already have a couple Dolly books, but they're mostly like Coat of Many Colors. They're based on Coat of Many Colors. They're not necessarily about Dolly's life, and this is really more about her life. So this is by Robin McGrath, R-O-B-Y-N, McGrath, and illustrated by Ellen Surrey. The link is on my links page in case you're interested. So I love this quote, find out who you are and do it on purpose. That's a Dolly Parton quote in a Dolly book. How wonderful. Anyway, It starts out deep in a holler of the Great Smoky Mountains. Dolly stood on her front porch, ready to perform. She had a microphone for singing and a guitar for strumming. In her mind, she was all sparkles and rhinestones. She wrangled her siblings into being her audience, and when they wouldn't, the chickens, pigs, and ducks would have to do. She clapped a beat when the geese honked overhead, and when she was just 5 years old, she composed her first song about her handmade corncob doll, Tiny Tasseltop. Dolly sang at home and in church. With her grandpa as the local preacher, she belted out songs of praise and faith for the congregation. Words flowed from Dolly's heart, loud and strong. Each Saturday, Dolly's family crowded around their battery-operated radio. As Dolly listened to the Grand Ole Opry, her heartbeat quickened. She held her breath on each note, and she felt the lyrics of joy and pain. I love in this video you can see some instruments here. A lot of them show up, actually, which is sort of cool. Dolly began to imitate the country greats whose voices crooned into her living room. Kitty Wells, Patsy Cline, and Johnny Cash. She dreamed of herself on stage at the Opry, toe-tapping, knee-slapping, belting out country tunes. But people said, "You're just a kid," and too young for the Opry. Dolly stood tall. She believed she had something to say. Living on a farm meant work for young Dolly. She hoed corn and planted pumpkins, beans, and turnips with her family, but Dolly preferred to be back at the house, writing songs, singing songs, and most importantly, dreaming. So this is another fun page where it shows banjo, a tambourine, an auto harp. It talks a little bit about how they made music at home, how her Uncle Bill sort of discovered her talent and decided that they should really invest in Dolly and make sure that she got a chance out there. Talked about kids at school who sort of made fun of her and how she would huddle at home with her family and listen to the stories and the songs that her mama told her. And she thought about Nashville. And then talked about her sort of getting her first break, getting started, getting onto a local variety show, wanting to be in the Grand Ole Opry, and sort of how things progressed for her. And then she finally did get a chance. A musician let her take their spot at the Grand Ole Opry. And so she came out. She was introduced by Johnny Cash. She came out and she started singing. And then there were 3 encores. And I love this part. Dolly stoked the fire, put pen to paper, and continued to write her stories into songs. And then it talks about after graduation, she moved to Nashville. She continued to sing and write, got on the Porter Wagner show. And then this last page, Dolly lifted people up with her voice, transporting them to the Great Smoky Mountains, to her roots, and to her family. With nails, hair, heels, sparkles, and that voice, always that voice, she no longer had to wrangle an audience. Dolly, finally seen and heard as the artist she was, had a real microphone for singing, a plethora of instruments for playing, and no shortage of rhinestones. And above all else, Dolly remained true to herself and her dreams, letting her songs guide us home. And then it talks a little bit more about her life, a little bit about the Grand Ole Opry, some Dollyisms, some of her famous sayings. If you see someone without a smile, give them yours. It's hard to be a diamond in the rhinestone world. Just some fun things that maybe would resonate with kids, maybe not. If you don't like the road you're walking, start paving another one. So just some really cool little Dolly quotes. And then some sources here in the back. But it's just a super fun book. Love the illustrations. It's just a great recap for her life, and also to just share with kids. So it's a fun video or a fun book to be able to share. Brand new. I found it at a local bookstore. I have a link to it on my links page where you can find it on Amazon if you want to get the ISBN and the author name, so you can go buy it at a local bookstore or to get it for your school library. It's a really great book to have. Okay, let's talk about kindergarten. I'm just going to check back on Facebook and make sure it's still going because, again, technology is just not being my friend today. So if you're still on Facebook, you can still sort of hear me. Cool. I don't know if I'll be able to change it today. I don't think I'll be able to change it today. I'll try and change it for next time so it's less glitchy. Sorry, Facebook friends. Okay, so my goals for kindergarten, my general goals for kindergarten for the first couple weeks. here, my goals are: goal number 1, distract. That sounds crazy, but honestly, it's sort of like, look over there. Like I found that with kindergarten for the first couple weeks, it's keep them going, keep them moving. Don't let them stop and think too much, because then you're going to have kids who are like, it's the afternoon, I've had lunch, where's my mom? I want to go home, or I got to go to the bathroom, or what, and there's so many like little things, issues that like, if you can keep your pace up, if you can keep your transitions tight and quick, if you can keep everything sort of flowing, kids won't stop to think so much, and they'll go with you. And the more that they can, not necessarily distracted, but like the more that they can be engaged, the less that they will be needy or stressed or talky or whatever. They will be it'll be a better experience for everyone. My second goal, pure, and I wrote down on my notes, pure joy, and then I crossed out joy, and I was like, energy. Because the energy is not always joyful, but it's always, if you keep your energy up, they are going to be a better class for you. So pure energy. So before the class, I chug a Red Bull. No, I do not do that. I like mentally chug a Red Bull, where I'm like, I just gotta, let's do this, and knowing like they are 5, the most mutiny they can do will be not crazy. I'm fine. And I just want all you, like, if you're a newer teacher, I just want you to know that I've been teaching now 12 years, and I still have those moments of like, come on, David, you can do it. You can get through this. Because with kindergarten, the first couple weeks, it can feel like, Lord help us. Anyway, so it's fine if you're like sort of stressed. You can make it. We can make it. It's going to be fine. Okay, so distract, goal number 1. Pure energy, goal number 2. I always try and plan and think about lots of movement, not necessarily locomotor or free movement. Sometimes that movement is like a finger play or actions for a song or moving in your own space but not moving through the room. In fact, I try and restrict the amount of movement through the room as much as I can in these first couple weeks, because I need them to know how to move before they're allowed to move. So I'll get to that in a second. And then a lot of teaching procedures, and not necessarily procedures for music. It's not like, here's how you hold the egg shaker. It's more like, here's how you sit, here's how you raise your hand, here's how we listen, here's how to interact with one another, here's why we don't interrupt, here's how to use the bathroom or not use the bathroom, or whatever your procedure is. All these respect, interpersonal things, those are all things I'm teaching. It's not so much music content as it is like, here's how to live, like here's how to be a human, because you don't know how. Like, my expectations for kindergarten are low, not because I think little of them, but because I know that like this is their first experience in a group setting like this. Even if they were in a preschool, like this is like their first time to really learn together, and they don't know what that looks like. So to like have them in the music room, get them in a circle, have them sit crisscross applesauce, and move to like one other position in the room, like dot spots or free spots or whatever, that's a win. If we don't end up singing a song or playing an instrument, fine, in these first couple weeks, because I know that like I'm not just, I feel like there's sometimes maybe a rush to like, ooh, we got to quick get to the instruments, and that is not in my head. I do not have that thought in my head. My idea is I am setting them up for 6 years of learning, K through 5. And so these first 2 weeks are crucial to teach them like what my expectations are, who I am, what my teaching style is, how we get in and out of the room, so that later on I'm not fighting with those battles of like they don't know the procedures. I want them to get all of that now. And so if we don't end up touching an instrument for a couple weeks, if we don't sing as much as I'd like in the first couple weeks, that's fine, because I know it's coming. I have 6 years with these kids. These 2 weeks are important for me to like set the tone and teach them what it's like to be humans in the music room. Okay, and then those are my main goals. Distract, high energy, lots of movement, and here's what it's like to be like a normal person in the classroom. Like, let's go for it. So I want to tell you my basic lesson structure, because most of the lessons are the same for the first like 2 weeks, and then I'll share some of the things that I'm doing in those lessons. Why are they the same? Because my first actual week with students is not a week with them in their homerooms, because we do this thing called Kinder Camp, where all the kids are in there are 4 homerooms at my school, and so the kids get sort of separated out into the 4 groups, and then the second day of school they get like jumbled up, and the next day they get jumbled up, and the next day they get jumbled up. So the idea is that every kindergarten homeroom teacher will see every kid by the end of those like 5 days. They will be in different groupings, different settings, so that like you can see the interactions between students. You can sort of see how they might work together or work with a teacher. So it's sort of weird for me, the specialist, because I don't have a set class, like a set homeroom for several days. So like I don't feel like I can like really teach a lot of content, because like one kid may, because of the way the rotation works, I may have one kid like 3 days in a row and not see one kid at all during kinder camp, you know? So like the way kids are mixed up, it's just sort of odd. So I try as much as I can to just get them through this set of lessons and let them have some experience trying some things, rather than like try and get them all through a couple lessons. So the structures are sort of the same, but the way they develop just changes a little bit. So the basic structure is we come in, do the choo-choo song, we move around the room, we make a circle, we do something in the circle, we move to spots on the dots on the floor around the room, we do one other thing, maybe I bring out a puppet, and then I teach them how to leave the room. That's a half hour. There's not a lot of time, but there's a lot that gets packed in there. So that's the basic structure. Walk in a line, make a circle, do something seated, move to a new place, do something there, then we line up and go, basically. It's not a lot, but a lot gets packed in. So the song that I sing when they come in is a song I learned many, many, many years ago. I think it's in the Orff Source Volume 2. I think that's the book that I originally found it in, but I think I found it in a couple other places since then, but I can try and go back and look. But the song goes, choo-choo train, copy me and do the same. Choo-choo train, woo, woo, stop. That's the whole song. And then we sing it probably 8 or 9 times every time they're in the music room. So how does this progress? The first time, I just have them walk into the room in their line. They don't scatter, they don't go anywhere, they stay in line as they come in, and then I take them through. I'm like, oh my gosh, you remind me of a train because you look like a train because you're in this long line together, you know? So we move as a train sort of in a circular thing around the room. The cool thing about this is they're getting to see the whole room, they're getting to like see instruments and all the stuff as they walk around the room, but they're just staying in line. We sing through, and then that takes us to our circle formation. So easy peasy. Now, as that song progresses, the first day it's just I sing, I ask them to do the woo-woos, and then I ask them to do woo-woo and stop. And what are they doing with their hands? Their hands are the wheels of the train. So all they're asked to do that first day is just the actions of the wheels. They do a whistle and the stop at the end, and then they freeze. That's it. The second day when they come in, they do the wheels, they do the whistle, they stop at the end. Karen, I'm so sorry. There's something wrong with the settings with Facebook right now. I'm sorry, the video is sort of glitchy. I'll try and work on that for next week. But you just mentioned on Facebook, is anyone else having that problem? Maybe if you switch to Instagram, it'd be easier. I'm so sorry. Just thought I saw your comment. I wanted to mention that. So the second day, we just do wheels. We do the woo-woo and stop. They're more used to it. Kids start singing along on their own, but I don't ask them to yet. They just do it. Great. The third day, I compliment, oh my gosh, the whistle you're doing is so great, it's so wonderful, I love it, woo, woo, stop, it's so good. And then secretly I have a train whistle in my pocket, and about the third or fourth time through the song, choo-choo train, copy me and do the same, choo-choo train, stop. And then I hide it, and they're like, where in the world did that, oh my gosh, your whistle was so realistic. And I like make this joke of like, I don't know, how did you make that sound? And then again, the second time I play the whistle and then I hide it. And they like, you have a whistle. Eventually I reveal, yes, I have a whistle. But they think it's fun, they think it's funny, and so it's like, but that's what the whistle sort of sounds like. So we're adding in a new timbre as we go, and it's very fun. All these 3 days, we're just moving in a circle formation. It's the fourth day of Choo Choo Train that's very fun. So in that fourth lesson, instead of just moving in a circle, I move in like squiggly lines, or we move in different sort of formations throughout the room so that we are not just doing a circle. We end up in a circle, but we move in different sort of patterns through the room, and they follow me like a train would. I would not do that on day 1 because I don't trust that they could follow and not touch things or not touch each other or actually follow a line. But the fourth time we do it, for sure they can start doing that. It's just like by the time they've done that, it's maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks into them being in school. They understand what a line is like, sort of. And so like we sort of get to the point where we can follow in a different line and then end up in a circular shape. But the first couple times, I don't do that. So that's the first activity in the room pretty much every time. Then we come and make our circle, which is this little circle song I learned from my friend Andrew Ellingson that goes, come and make a circle, circle, circle. Come and make a circle all around. Take hands together, everyone together. Once we've made a circle, then we'll all sit down. End of song, easy peasy. But it's just a quick little song to get students to like actually grab hands, make a circle, and do their thing. So that one is the same every single time. I don't say like, hey, repeat after me or learn this thing or whatever. I just sing it, and as we go through the year, they just learn it and do it with me. Again, it's one of those things that like I could be like explicit about like, hey, we're going to learn this song. But because it happens every single time and it is so simple, I just take them through it as we go. And they pick it up on their own. So once we're seated, we talk about CrissCross applesauce, what that looks like. The very first day, I'm like, it's a new thing you've probably never heard of before. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to show you. CrissCross applesauce. And they're like, we know that one. I was like, oh, really? Do you know the next part? CrissCross applesauce, spoons in the bowl. And they're like, we know that. I was like, okay, well, great. But when we say spoons, we actually mean hands, right? Sorry. So was spoons in the bowl. But what if we didn't want our hands to be spoons? What if we wanted them to be forks? Could we do that? So we make little forks with our hand. CrissCross applesauce, forks in the bowl. Great. Okay, wait, could we do, what if we had like a big piece of food, we needed to cut it up, what would we use? Or maybe a big piece of bread and we wanted to put butter on it, what would we use? A knife. Can you make a knife with your hand? Great. And then maybe your other piece is like holding down a piece of potato and you're cutting it up. Or your mom or dad's cutting it up. I don't know. So then we could do CrissCross applesauce, knife and fork in the bowl. Or what if we were having food where we use chopsticks? Can you make your hands into chopsticks? Okay. CrissCross applesauce, chopsticks in the bowl. Just like several silly things so that they know what crisscross is like, and then they know how to put utensils, hands, in the bowl. And that progresses through in the 4 lessons, which I have students twice a week for half an hour. In those 4 lessons, the first time is we just sit CrissCross applesauce, and then we put spoons in the bowl. And then I say, ooh, I'm going to test you again, uncrisscross. And then, when I say the words, then you do it. CrissCross applesauce, spoons in the bowl. Oh, I'm going to try and trick you. Christopher Columbus sauce, spoons in your hair. Oh, did I get you? And so like that's the first day of just, can you do it? The second day is, if it's not spoons, can they be forks? Can they be knives? Can they be chopsticks? The third day is basically they're just real good at it. CrissCross applesauce, spoons in the bowl. And we might go back and forth and practice a couple things. But the reason I keep doing this every day and bringing back this sort of poem, which falls off after about the 3rd lesson, is I want them to know what crisscross is like. I want them to know the word when I say pockets on the floor. What do I mean? I just want them to know the terminology and to hear it from me several times before I ask them to like use it in the middle of a lesson. Because if I don't say it, maybe their homeroom teacher uses some other thing. So I keep saying it the way that I'm going to say it pretty much all year so they know what that's like. They know what to look for and listen for. Then we do engine number 9. In every single one of these lessons, I say, oh, I know this poem about this engine. It's so great. And the first time I teach it to them, I just speak through the whole thing. I then go line by line, show them the actions, and then I just sort of walk them through it. We do it several times through. So the first day, my version is this. Engine number 9. The only action I have to do is show me 9 fingers on the word 9. Going down Chicago line. We shake ourselves like we're a box card that's shaking. See it sparkle, see it shine. Engine number 9. I know some of you use a different version. If the wheels go off the track, will I get my money back or whatever? I don't use that version because I just don't know it and I don't use it, but also I'm like, I'd rather have the version where it sparkles and shines rather than the version where the train goes off the tracks. So anyway, that version again is engine number 9, going down Chicago line. See it sparkle, see it shine. Engine number 9. So the first day is just sort of teaching them line by line, getting them to do the actions, see if they can remember it. The second day when they come back, I go, oh, you remember that poem? It goes, engine, engine, number 4, going down. Oh, not number 4. What is it? Number what? Number 9. Oh, you do remember. Great. Okay. So it goes engine, engine, number 9, going down the Denver line. Not Denver? What is it? And so I mess up each thing to see if they remember the original. If they don't, I go, wait a minute. Because like if they don't stop me, I'm like, hold on. Is it Denver? Or was it somewhere else? Like I correct myself. And then we go through. But that second day is like, oh no, can I get it right? Am I getting it wrong? To see if they'll come with me and correct me. The third day, I add another part. I add a B section. So we go through, we do the whole engine number 9 going down Chicago line, blah, 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 blah. And then I add, I have a new part that goes, choo, 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 choo. You're just going to make engines, or you're just going to make train sounds. And when I ask you to stop, then you stop. Choo, choo. So we go a while, choo, 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 choo. Ready, stop. Wow. And then we go back to the part A of the engine number 9. The second time we do the sounds, choo, 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 choo. I don't say ready, stop, but I just use a visual cue. I move my hands like in an X formation or whatever, a swipe. You know, I don't give them the auditory cue. I only give them the visual cue. Wow, you are watching so well. You all stopped. That's great. Amazing. You know what? I had I used my train whistle when we came in. I wonder if I could use that to get you to stop. Let me try. And I blow the whistle. That gets them to stop. It's just different ways to get them to start and stop when I want them to start and stop. And then on day 4 of that, the 4th time we do that, we'll stand up and move our feet. And then do the different times to stop, going always back and forth, A, B, poem, choo-choos, poem, choo-choos, poem, choo-choos. Not for very long, just for a couple minutes, but it's again like slowly building up that lesson. By lesson 5, we're going to move around the circle so that our feet are actually moving as we're going around for that B section. Again, that poem is super short, but it just progresses as we go through the different weeks. Then, the next part of the lesson, sometimes a puppet comes out, sometimes not. The very first day they meet Peter. Peter introduces himself and talks about what he does, and he's a rabbit, and he's not a wild... Well, he is a wild rabbit, but he knows all the kids, and so if he saw the kids, he would definitely say hi outside, but sometimes wild rabbits don't. He maybe talks about rabbits. It depends on how much time I have. If I got like a couple minutes to kill, Peter might, go into like, what does he do? Where does he live? Blah, blah, blah. Just a few more details about being in the school. And then Peter teaches them a poem. Oh, sorry, Peter, to put you away. And Peter, do you want to teach them the poem? Mm-hmm. Okay, the poem goes... What's it go? I forgot. Did I forget? No, you didn't forget. I forget sometimes. That's okay. But I am happy to... Because mistakes are fine. And if you make mistakes, that's okay. But you got to fix them. Yeah, so Peter, puts in some little life lessons and things, and, one of the other things he says is, yeah, if you're outside and you see a rabbit, the rabbit might not actually come and say hello to you because it's wild, but, I know you as kids because I've met you now, but, I would say hi to you, but if I were outside and I didn't know you, I would hop away because I'd be nervous that you were a kid who would, maybe be mean or something, and I would probably not stop and say hi. So, he mixes and things like that. Anyway, that's another thing, I can add in if I need to kill a little time, which doesn't usually happen in kindergarten for the first day because there's so many things packed in. But it's also, it tells a little bit more about what happens in the poem. For instance, can you explain the poem? Yeah, it goes like this. I saw a little rabbit go hop, hop, hop. I saw his little ears go flop, flop, flop. I saw his little nose go wink, wink, wink. I saw his little eyes go blink, blink, blink. I said, Mr. Rabbit, won't you stay? He looked at me and hopped away. It's a cute little poem. It's short. I teach it again line by line. And then we Peter's going to teach it to the kids and says, well, did you bring your rabbits? And we didn't bring our rabbits. And they go, oh, I'm like, oh no. Okay, well, what can we do? I know, show me 2 fingers. And they go like this, and I go, great, you've got your rabbit, because look, you've got 2 ears here, and here's its head, here's its little nose out on the end, and you're going to make his nose wiggle and make his ears flop. And we go through and we learn it as a finger play, which is basically just a song or poem that you teach where the actions are your fingers moving through. There's not really any other actions. Your fingers are acting it out. A finger play, if you have never tried one of those before. So, they do each line by line. I saw a little rabbit go hop, hop, hop. I saw his little ears go flop, flop, flop. And then it gets tricky because you can't actually do much with your hand. You got to do it with your face. I saw his little nose go wink, wink, wink. I saw his little eyes go blink, blink, blink. I said, Mr. Rabbit, won't you stay? He looked at me and hopped away. Now, when I'm teaching this with kids, I got to do it like basically, I don't know, in one lesson, I have to do the poem 3 or 4 or 5 times. And kids will do that. They are happy to do that repetition. Especially if each time you're like, wow, I'm so impressed. You're doing so great. Take your little rabbit and say, oh, you're doing a wonderful job, little rat. You know, like it's fun to see the kids interact with the rabbits. But they really will go for it. It's especially funny when they try and do, you know, a nose wiggle or something. That I had one kid who I was like, gotta wiggle your little nose. And he was like he go to his eyebrows. He didn't know. It was fine anyway. It was a super fun, super great moment. But that little poem is great. That I do the first 2 or 3 days. Then sometimes I'll sub out this lesson, which I call the magic pencil. I've got this little pencil and a pointer. I say it's a magic pencil. Watch this. It can not just draw like drawing like on paper, but it can actually go and draw sound through the air. Watch this. Isn't that so cool? And they're like, Mr. Rao, that was you. No, it's the pencil. The pencil made the sound. Watch again. Ooh. And they're like, no, that was not the pencil. That was you. No. Watch really carefully. Woo, 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 woo. And they're like, that was you. And I'm like, you have to use your imagination. You have to pretend. It's not me. It's the magic pencil, right? And so this is like, again, like, I'm hoping to teach them, like, we're having fun, we're being silly, we're learning together, this pencil is magic, go with me. And sometimes they will right away, and sometimes they're like, you know, like, for some reason, the puppet, they are willing to go with me there, but sometimes the magic pencil, they're like, not right away. So it's something that I use a couple times, just vocal exploration, super easy. And then on the first couple days, there's so much repetition and so much repeating and so much processing and like stopping and tamping down questions and tamping down issues and whatever, and getting kids back into CrissCross and blah blah blah, and talking about where do your hands go, all that sort of thing, that usually we run out of time. By about the 3rd lesson, they're so much quicker on those first few parts of the lesson that I can move on to something else. And I teach another song, another finger play, open, shut them, which I think is a great one because it gets their hands active, it's a super fun song, and also it teaches them to keep track of their hands. I always say before I even teach the song, I'm like, this is a song about a little boy whose hands were just out of control. He did spoons in the bowl, and then a few minutes later, I realized that his hand was over reaching to get something, and I said, ooh, spoons in your bowl, and he's like, they are. I said, no, they're not, and he goes, my hand. I'm sorry. I thought it was in the bowl. Okay, and so then he has spoons in the bowl, and then a few minutes later, I look over and his hand is starting to crawl away and do other stuff. And I said, spoon's the bowl. He said, it is. And I said, no, check. And he goes, spoon, get in the bowl. You know, and it's silly, it's funny, but kids are like, that is hilarious. How does that happen? But now they're like being aware of like, what are my hands doing? It's a great segue into the song, which goes, open, shut them, open, shut them, give a little clap, clap, clap. Open, shut them, open, shut them, put them in your lap, lap, lap. Sometimes I get kids who are like, that's a preschool song, that's a kid song. Okay, sure, sort of, but I don't think there's an age limit on any song, so we'll start there. Well, kid, if you want to talk pedagogy, let's talk pedagogy and where curriculum falls. But what I really find is that some kids don't know the song. Some kids are like, I learned that in preschool, but did they really learn the song in preschool, or did they find someone who was like, open, shut them, or sing in a different range? Like, I know I am a music specialist and I can sing it in the correct range for them and we can do it and it's going to sound good. I don't know what they got in preschool. So I never fear that, like, well, what if they learned this in preschool? I never feel bad about, like, let me take this song and try it again, because who knows if they really did or not. So we do open, shut them, and then there's the part that goes creep them, creep them, creep them, creep them, up to your chin, chin, chin. Open up your little mouth. Bye. do not let them in. Because so many kids, again, are putting their fingers in their mouth, they're touching their teeth, whatever. And this is a great chance to sing a song, do a little finger play, get them active, but also be like, don't put your hands in your mouth. That's gross. And then it's just a fun song. You can do that several times. They will giggle and let you do it as many times as you want. But it's just a fun to sort of work in. In the next lesson, we start to do things like, where is Thumbkin? So again, that idea of your hands are sort of sentient. What are they doing? Where are they going? But also like your thumb and your pointer and your tall man, all that sort of thing. And at the end of class, we do our closing song. I do a version of the Korean song called Arirang. And this is a translated version, but the song, the version that I do goes like this. They're sitting down usually, and this is to get them to stand up on their dot spots or wherever they are, to get them sort of ready to line up and go back to their homeroom or to go to PE. So the version I do goes, Arirang, Arirang, Arario. That's them standing up. Over the hills of Arirang. Hands going back and forth. Voices calling from far away. I must follow, I cannot stay. And then by the time they're done, then their arms are crossed, their voices are off because they just heard a sort of quiet-ish song, and they usually will quiet down for that. And they're ready to walk out and leave. So usually then I have to talk about how the line or what door they go through, things like that. I don't explicitly teach them that song. I don't ask them to sing along. I do ask them to do the actions, but that's it. And I know that over time, they're just going to learn it. So I don't spend time like, here's this part, here's this one, here's what Arirang means. I just like go into it. It's our goodbye song. And eventually I'll be more explicit about it. But in these first lessons, I don't. And that's the time. So kindergarten lessons are chock full of stuff. It goes really, really fast. There are a lot of things. It progresses over time. And again, I start with very low expectations. They don't know how to sit. They don't know how to use the bathroom. If they do know how to use the bathroom, like physically go to the bathroom, they don't know how to hold it and wait. So when the bathroom question jumps up, because inevitably it will, I say, I'll show you. And I point right to where it is. And then, because I don't have a bathroom in my room, so I like go out in the hallway and go, there, and point. And then I say like the boy and the girl's bathroom or whatever. And we talk about that. And then I say only one at a time, only one out. I can't send everyone. So you can be next. You know, if like 8 kids' hands go up, I'm like, you can be next. And when they come back, we'll choose another if we need to or whatever, you know. So, but it's like, gotta wait. Sorry, can only do one at a time. And I don't usually have kids question that, at least initially. They're just like, oh man, one at a time. Bummer. And then I just, again, look over there, like I distract them, you know, like, okay, well, here we go, you know, and the next thing. So the less that we can like dwell on it, the more if you're like, well, let me teach you my bathroom procedure, the more they're going to think about it and the more they're going to want to go. So I just like send that first kid, promise that another kid can go, promise you're going to get a chance. We can only do one at a time. And then zoom, we're off into something else. And a lot of times when kids don't think about it, then they decide they don't need to go right away. Because again, this is the beginning of kindergarten and they don't know the difference between I have to go, it's an emergency, and just like I have the vague sensation that maybe I should go, or like bathroom, that's fun, let me go there. So it's a whole thing of like zoom through, get as much done as you can, keep them as engaged as you can, keep your energy level up, and just hope for the best. And know that your class is going to end in, I don't know, however many minutes you have. It will eventually end. So again, I hope that if you're a younger-ish teacher or someone who's just started teaching kindergarten that age for the first time, hear me as I have been doing this for a while person saying, these first few weeks are terrible. I don't feel, I feel like every year at the end of the year, I'm like, wow, I love where kindergarten has come. Please remember how far they can come when you come back in August, because the first couple months are not fun. And then about Halloween, they're your kids and they'll be great. But until then, just like plan a lot, have fallbacks, and hold on. Okay, I hope that you were able to hear some of this. I'm sorry if technology has been an issue. I'm going to see what's going on. I don't know. It's a weird technology day. Literally everything seems to be falling apart. So I hope you heard some of this. I'm going to come back midweek and share a little bit more from my classroom, hopefully maybe Wednesday or Thursday night after school. So if you can join me, great. If not, I will always post things on Facebook and YouTube, and as much as I can on the podcast as well, so you can join in as much as you can. If you have any questions, please email me. My email is makemomentsmatter@gmail.com, or you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all sorts of places, and follow me there. Send me questions there. All right, everyone, I hope this was helpful. I'll hope to see you either midweek or next week, and hopefully we'll have some of these technology bugs worked out. But thanks so much for coming along for the ride. Night, everyone.